What if I told you a single bullet altered the course of an entire war? Not because of its power, its design, or even its precision, but because of pure, unplanned chance. Skeptical? Well, buckle up, because you're about to discover a story that seems too bizarre to be true. And yet, it absolutely is. This, the tale of the bullet that flipped a war, stands as one of the wildest historical anecdotes about firearms. Let's set the stage. The year is 1862. The United States is embroiled in its bloodiest conflict, the Civil War. The stakes couldn't be higher. Two ideologies clashing for survival, freedom, and the very nature of the nation. Every battle is life or death. Every strategy critical. It seemed that the outcome of the war could be tipped by the smallest, most insignificant event. And that's exactly what happened, thanks to a single bullet. During the American Civil War, both Union and Confederate forces relied on intelligence to gain the upper hand. Battles were won and lost, not just on the fields, but in the shadowy game of espionage, reconnaissance, and intercepted communications. Which brings us to Antietam Creek in Maryland, just before one of the most harrowing battles of the Civil War, the Battle of Antietam. Imagine this. A Union soldier is exploring a field near Frederick, Maryland. He spots a scrap of paper wrapped around something odd, a bundle. Curiosity picks up and he unrolls it. His discovery? A cigar? No, not just one cigar, but two cigars. Attached to them? A sheet of paper. And this is not just any piece of paper, but it's scribbled on with a detailed list of Confederate troop movements and war plans. To be precise, it was Special Order 191, meticulously handwritten and carrying Confederate General Robert E. Lee's battle strategy. And here is where it gets insane. This piece of paper, wrapped innocently around cigars, might never have been spotted if not for the weight of a stray bullet stuffed among the cigars. Perhaps one of the Confederate soldiers accidentally included this bullet, intending to keep it as a weight or possibly a placeholder. It was sheer chance that the soldier unintentionally dropped this very bundle, and sheer luck that a Union soldier stumbled across it in time. This single piece of intelligence, this innocuous sheet of paper inexplicably accompanied by a stray bullet, fundamentally changed the tide of war. It provided the Union with knowledge of Lee's movements. General George McClellan, receiving this, famously exclaimed, "Here is a paper with which, if I cannot whip Bobby Lee, I will be willing to go home." The Union knew precisely where and how the Confederate forces planned to attack. This turned Antietam into a Union defensive masterstroke. Now you might be asking, did it work? Did this rogue bullet and those cigars actually flip the war? Let's talk about Antietam. On September 17, 1862, the two sides met in what would become the bloodiest single day in American history. Over 22,000 soldiers were killed, wounded, or went missing. But in the end, the Union Army held the upper hand, imperfect as their victory was. More importantly, the battle halted Lee's invasion of the North. It became the leverage President Abraham Lincoln needed to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, creating a long-term moral high ground for the war and ensuring that European powers like Britain and France wouldn't recognize the Confederacy. All because of a bullet, acting more as a messenger than a weapon. Think about the butterfly effect for a moment. A minor mishap, an overlooked, misplaced bundle of cigars and a lead projectile, bridged the chaos of war and history-altering events. In our day and age, we often talk about precision-guided missiles, pinpoint action, surgical strikes. But sometimes, history is least precise in the grandest of alterations. This isn't just a tale of intrigue, it's a cautionary tale about chance and chaos. If you think about it, the accidental interception of Special Order 191 underscores the randomness of war, the unpredictability of human error in even the most calculated strategies. Was the bullet meant to act as a makeshift weight to keep the order secured? Or was it purely incidental? Did its presence somehow make the discovery all the more likely, standing out amidst the cigars? All questions to which we may never know the answer. To take this story further, the Civil War transformed firearms strategy, tactics, and use, more than that stray bullet could know. Equipment ranging from repeating rifles to iron-plated battleships marked technological steps forward. However, no amount of weaponry could withstand serendipity, a bullet placed in the wrong place, at the wrong time, or right time, depending on which side of history you stand. So why does this story matter beyond the history books? It reminds us of the interconnectedness of intention, preparation, and happenstance. Modern conflicts are riddled with high-tech methods, satellites flying unseen above us, and intricate intelligence algorithms. Yet all that sophistication rests on the tiniest human habits and whims. Who would expect an errant bundle containing 2 cigars and a humble piece of ammunition to change the world? This one errant round of munitions silently writes volumes into the memoirs of man's most devastating conflicts. Perhaps the lesson of the bullet that flipped a war signifies more than just a quirky tale of wartime blunders. Maybe it's a metaphor for life itself, the unpredictability of small actions that lead to seismic shifts. Like a bullet fired into the air, the path of history arcs unexpectedly, unanticipated, and unforgettable. So next time you're holding something as minute as a bullet, know this: it's capable of more than you think, in ways even the most seasoned strategist couldn't imagine. And as much as we'd like to believe history is a deliberate act, often it's just an errant bullet shot on a path no one left unmarked. Oh, and if you ever find a bundle of cigars lying in the woods, trust me, take a second look. History might just be waiting for you to pick it up.